Both Realme and Redmi have now released their flagship killer phones that are aimed at people looking for the best performance possible while not having to pay the usual flagship asking prices. The Realme GT5 and the Redmi K60 Ultra both have very powerful chips on the inside, and though they are both trying to do the same thing, which is offer a flagship experience at a not so flagship price point, the way they get to do that, now that's quite different. Hey guys, my name is Ash, and today on C4E Tech, I'm gonna walk you through the 7 biggest differences between the Realme GT5 and the Redmi K60 Ultra. Now there are actually quite a few similarities here. Both phones weigh about the same, the dimensions are similar. Well, if we were to nitpick, the K60 Ultra is 0.3mm wider, while the GT5 is 0.9mm taller, as well as 0.4mm thicker. But this is just nitpicking, these are all just numbers. Practically, you aren't gonna notice this with real usage. What you will notice though is Redmi's sides are sharper. Now both brands have used plastic for the sides, and while I'm not a fan of the Samsung-esque glossy plastic that Realme's gone for, there is a reason why Samsung continued to use this kind of finish for a long time. And that's because it's comfortable. Even when you rest your index finger, that area here, it's smoothed out on the GT5. In fact, this seamless melding of the back into the camera visor is why Realme calls this miracle glass. On the K60 Ultra, this part's sharper. So all in all, the GT5, it feels slightly more comfortable to use. The LED to the back, that might also seem like an attraction to some. Now neither brand has mentioned the materials used for protection, but Redmi does offer an IP68 water and dust resistance rating for the K60 Ultra, which definitely gives it an advantage. So with build, I'm gonna have to say the Redmi looks better, especially that matte finish to the sharp sides, and it also has that IP68 rating going for it, but the GT5, it is more comfortable to use. Once again, we have similarities here. Both phones use OLED panels that are vibrant and offer excellent contrast. Now if you look closer, both have a 1.5K resolution with a 144Hz refresh. Neither offers LTPO support. Now that said, there are a few advantages the K60 Ultra has over the Realme GT5. For starters, the panel Redmi's used is 12-bit. The K60 Ultra also offers a higher brightness peak, 2600 nits compared to a very respectable 1400 on the Realme. And for now at least, the K60 Ultra is the one that has wideband L1 support. Now Realme's OLED panel on the other hand is slightly larger, 6.74 inches compared to 6.67, and more importantly has much slimmer bezels. It just makes the GT5 look a lot more premium. Now apart from this, the speakers on it are also slightly louder. Here, have a listen. Both phones are running on Android 13. Now the GT5 has Realme's Realme UI 4.0 built atop, while on the K60 Ultra it's MIUI 14 that's built on top of Android 13. Now both phones come with a whole lot of bloat, but these apps are uninstallable, but they also have recommendations built into a lot of places, so there's not a lot between them in terms of experience there. Also, given the solid specs underneath, neither slows down, they're both snappy and responsive. So the difference here, I feel it boils down to software support. While Realme hasn't explicitly made any promises for the GT5, the last time they spoke about updates was for the GT2, and they confirmed 3 years of Android version updates along with 4 years of security patches. Redmi, on the other hand, they've now committed to 4 years of Android version updates with 5 years of security patches for the K60 Ultra. So this is advantage Redmi. The Redmi K60 Ultra sports a 5000 mAh battery and comes with a 120W GaN charger in the box. The Realme GT5 on the other hand sports a 5240 mAh battery and comes with a 150W SuperVOOC charger. Now Realme also offers this version that I have here. This one sports a smaller 4600 mAh battery but is coupled with an insanely fast 240W SuperVOOC charger. Now, just looking at the base versions, Realme has the higher capacity battery and the faster charger, though the actual difference in claimed 0 to 100 times is just a minute, but this one, it's all Realme. Both phones sport similar triple camera setups to the back. For the primary, Redmi's gone with the Sony IMX800, a slightly larger sensor that's paired with an optically stabilized f1.7 lens, while Realme's gone for the more popular IMX890 that's paired with yet another optically stabilized lens, but one with a slower f1.9 aperture. Under good light, you can't really go wrong with either. Both cameras shoot beautiful images with loads of detail. Now, if we were to nitpick, I'd say the Realme, it's slightly sharper, it also handles colors a little better. The Redmi, it tends to go cooler at times, but it does have the better dynamic range. Just look at the shadows on any image set. Now again, this is all just nitpicking. Under good light, you're gonna be happy with either camera. Under low light though, here's where Redmi's larger sensor and wider aperture come into play. It shows, like look at the bush here, or these leaves. In this set, just look at the text on the vehicle. You might think this was a one-off, a random blur, but no. Detail is not the GT5's strength, at least not under low light. Here are a few more examples, see for yourself. It is also worth mentioning that the Redmi is slightly quicker when it comes to shooting night mode shots. Now with video, for some reason Realme does not provide an option to shoot 8K on the GT5 despite the hardware being there. So I ended up comparing 4K 60. And here, both cameras do well, but Redmi seems to offer better stabilization. And the fact that it can do 8K, I feel like that gives the K60 Ultra an edge. Now both phones sport 8MP ultra-wides as secondaries, and there is not really a lot between them. They both blow hot and cold with the colors. Like see this set, Realme's reproduced warmer tones. Now here in this set, Redmi's warmer. Basically both are kinda equally flawed, so their performance, I'd call it on par with each other. Now ignoring the macro, let's move on to selfies. With selfies, we get a 20MP sensor on the K60 Ultra, a 16MP one on the Realme GT5. And while they have slightly different colors, I'd say the results are comparable, even with portrait shots. Now for selfie video, both brands have it limited to 1080p 30, which is kinda weird. And the audio pickup is gonna be alternating between both. So what do you guys think? Which one is better? I'll have more to say in a second. So here, I feel the audio pickup is slightly better with the K60 Ultra. The footage itself, while a little cropped in, does look more stable. This is probably one of the biggest differences between these two phones, the specs on the inside. With the GT5, Realme's gone for the best Qualcomm chip that money can buy today, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Redmi on the other hand, for the K60 Ultra, they've gone with the best MediaTek chip that money can buy today, and that's the Dimensity 9200 Plus. Now on paper, the Dimensity chip has higher clocks, but with actual use, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, it fares slightly better with synthetic benchmarks. Now throttling seems to be an issue with both these phones. The GT5, the K60 Ultra, neither managed to complete a 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme stress test. That said, the MediaTek chip does tend to get warmer a tad quicker. With practical scenarios, either phone should have no issues pushing any game you throw at it. That really shouldn't be a point of concern. Also do note that while Realme and Redmi both offer 12256 as the base and 241TB as the top SKU, Redmi does have more combinations in between. Beat it up, the RAM is LPDDR5X and the storage is UFS 4.0 on both. Now before we talk about difference number 1, a quick shout out to video sponsor Anbernic. Anbernic now have a new handheld game console, the RG405V. This takes the heart of the RG405M, which was very well received, and puts it into a vertical form factor. Now the 405V sports the typical Anbernic D-pad and buttons, comes with Hall sensor analog sticks to stay free of stick drift, and feels very well crafted. I've been playing around with it for about 10 days now and I absolutely love it. Now if you want to know more about the RG405V, check out the link in the description below. Now the final difference between these two is the price. The Redmi K60 Ultra starts at 2599 RMB, while Realme charges 15% more for their base variant. So if we were to break it down, the Realme GT5 is slightly more ergonomic, has that attention-grabbing LED ring and transparency, offers a slightly larger screen with louder speakers, a higher capacity battery, faster charging alongside a faster chip that also runs slightly cooler. On the other hand, the Redmi K60 Ultra has an IP68 rating, uses a brighter panel which is 12-bit and has support for wideband L1, gets an extra year of updates and security patches, fares better under low light, is capable of shooting 8K and even edges ahead with 4K 60, it has more SKUs on offer, and finally is 400 yuan cheaper. Objectively, as we've seen throughout this video, both these phones are quite evenly matched. Now which one is better, that is gonna largely depend on which positives you value more. Now me personally, I give more importance to the ergonomics. I'm more enamored by the LED on the back. I prefer the 8 Gen 2 to the 9200 Plus, so if I were to choose between these two, I'd probably end up paying 400 RMB more for the GT5. But what about you? Given the same choice, knowing what you know now, which one would you choose? Leave a comment if you can. Thanks for watching. Bye bye now.